Your biology is being short-sold by firms that don't even know your name. By the end of this session, you will understand why the choice in your grocery store is a mathematical illusion controlled by two entities, BlackRock and Vanguard. We are going to dissect the endocrine disruption protocol, the strategic inclusion of soy lecithin and seed oils designed to chemically lower the masculine baseline of the Western population. I will show you the suppressed data on nutritional erasure, proving that the produce you eat in 2026 contains 40% less skeletal building minerals than the soil of 1950. You'll see how the bliss point engineering in your snacks is a tactical hijack of your basal ganglia, designed to keep you in a state of high fructose sedation. Before the finale, I will reveal the nutritional autarky blueprint, the exact method to decouple your hormonal health from the corporate grid and reclaim your neural clarity. If you think you can build an empire while fueling your brain with BlackRock's trash, you've already lost. Drop and give me 20. Let's look at the chemicals in your blood. The grocery store is a metabolic slaughterhouse disguised as a hall of plenty. You walk the aisle seeing 1,000 brands, but the ledger tells a darker story. Whether it's Nestlé, Coca-Cola, or General Mills, the institutional ownership remains the same, the Leviathan. BlackRock and Vanguard don't just own the companies, they own the standard operating procedures of your survival. They dictate the chemical drift of the entire food supply. This is the financialization of the human cell. The system has mastered the art of hyperpalatability. This isn't food science, it's neurochemical warfare. Corporate labs utilize the bliss point, a precise ratio of salt, sugar, and fat, to bypass your prefrontal cortex and hit your primitive dopamine receptors. They aren't trying to nourish you, they are trying to turn your brain into a feedback loop of consumption. A man who is addicted to the high fructose mumbling of processed sugar is a man who can never achieve the architecture of silence. His nervous system is too busy vibrating from the glucose spikes to focus on the mission. Every meal from the corporate grid is a withdrawal from your war chest of health. Look at the rise in metabolic syndrome. It is not an accident. It is a byproduct of the soft world infrastructure. By replacing animal fats with industrial seed oils, lubricants originally designed for machinery, the system is causing systemic inflammation in your fascia. Your structure is literally hardening, not with muscle, but with scar tissue and biological rot. This is the pesticide castration of the West. The chemicals used in industrial farming, like atrazine and glyphosate, are more than just weed killers. They are endocrine disruptors. They mimic estrogen in your bloodstream, signaling to your DNA that it's time to soften, to slow down, to comply. The system loves a man with high estrogen because a soft man is a predictable consumer. He doesn't seek the void, he seeks the couch. He doesn't hunt, he browses. To the architect, food is a hard asset. You must treat your gut biome like a sovereign territory. If you allow BlackRock to manage your internal flora, they will manage your external reality. The architecture of void requires nutritional sovereignty. You need the raw materials of the hunt, high-density proteins, pasture-raised fats, and minerals that haven't been bled out by monocrop farming. The soft men around you will call your nutritional autarky an obsession. They will mumble about moderation while they eat their glyphosate-soaked cereals. Let them. Their moderation is just a slow-motion metabolic suicide. You are the architect. You don't eat for pleasure. You eat for velocity. You don't buy brands. You buy biological leverage. Break the chemical leash. The system wants you sick because a sick man is a profitable man. A healthy man is a threat. The system doesn't just want your money. It wants your metabolic compliance. This is achieved through the glycemic leash, a tactical use of blood glucose instability to keep your prefrontal cortex in a state of permanent fog. When you consume the high fructose mumbling found in 80% of corporate food products, your insulin spikes, followed by a devastating crash. In that crash, your brain enters survival mode. You become irritable, impulsive, and cognitively diminished. You lose the ability to think 10 years ahead because your biology is screaming for the next 10-minute fix. This is the short-term trap. A man who cannot control his glucose cannot control his destiny. This is the financialization of your hunger. Think about the acoustic rot we discussed in your home. The mindless chatter of your family is external noise. The glycemic roller coaster is internal noise. It is a background radiation that prevents your neural crystallization. You cannot build the architecture of void if your internal state is a chaotic mess of inflammation and sugar crashes. The system loves a hangry man. He is easy to distract. He is easy to sell to. He is too busy fighting his own cravings to fight the architecture of extraction. We are seeing the rise of the insulin-dependent serf. By the time you realize that your burnout is actually a metabolic brownout, the system has already funneled you into the healthcare industrial complex. You go from the grocery store, owned by BlackRock, to the doctor's office, funded by Big Pharma, owned by BlackRock, to the pharmacy, managed by the same institutional giants. It is a closed loop of biological harvesting. You are the crop. Your chronic inflammation is the yield. The soft men of the West treat their bodies like trash cans and then wonder why they feel like biological bankrupts. They buy the low-fat lies, replacing healthy structural animal fats with inflammatory plant-based sludge. They are trading their cell membrane integrity for social approval, but the architect knows that saturated fat is a hard asset. It is the building block of your brain and your hormones. To reject the corporate oils is to reject the very mechanism of your domestication. The nutritional autarky requires a total rejection of the bliss point. You must train your palate to find pleasure in the void of flavoring. Real food doesn't have a marketing budget. Grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, spring water, these are the private keys to your biological sovereignty. They provide the steady-state energy required for a 30-year mission. While the masses are vibrating on a sugar high, you are moving with the heavy, silent momentum of a predator. This is the great metabolic decoupling. You must stop seeing food as pleasure and start seeing it as logistics. You are a diver preparing for a deep-sea mission into the void. You need high-pressure fuel, not high-fructose candy. Every time you reject the BlackRock diet, you are performing a micro-coup against the global elite. You are reclaiming the territory of your own blood. The mumbling will continue. The grocery store will stay bright and welcoming, like a well-lit prison. But you walk the aisles like a ghost. You don't see food, you see extraction modules, and you refuse to be processed. Get off the floor. You've done your 20. Now go feed the machine in your mirror, not the machine in the cloud. In this session, we are going to dissect the 90-degree cage, the strategic design of modern urban environments that forces your body into a state of chronic metabolic decay. You'll see why your office chair is actually a biological short position held by your employer against your longevity. We will uncover the data on circadian hijacking, how the specific blue light frequency of your workplace is engineered to suppress your mitochondrial function and keep you in a state of high cortisol exhaustion. I'll reveal the sedentary subsidy, the hidden financial incentives that make trash food the only logistical option for the working man. By the end, you'll hold the environmental autarky protocol, the method to turn your immediate surroundings into a training camp for the architect, even while the grid tries to sedate you. If you think you can thrive in an environment designed to kill you, you're already a statistic. Get on the floor. Give me 20. Let's look at the geometry of your cage. The modern city is not a habitat, it is an extraction grid. Look at the layout of your day. You move from a square bed to a square car to a square office under artificial lights that trick your DNA into thinking it's a permanent high noon emergency. This is the geometry of stagnation. Your body was designed for the infinite complexity of the wild, uneven terrain, fluctuating temperatures, and the variable light of the sun. The soft world replaces this with standardized comfort, and comfort is the primary predator of the masculine spirit. This is the fascial liquidation. When you sit for 8 hours a day, your fascia, the connective tissue that holds your structure together, begins to solidify. You are literally setting like concrete in the shape of your chair. Your hip flexors shorten, your glutes shut down, and your lymphatic system, the waste management of your body, stops pumping because it requires the hard movement of your muscles to function. You aren't just tired, you are biologically stagnant. You are a pool of standing water in a world that requires a rushing river. The system loves your stagnation. A stagnant man is a predictable man. He doesn't have the vagal tone to resist stress. He doesn't have the structural integrity to stand his ground. He is a soft asset that can be easily manipulated through the acoustic rot of corporate media. Your physical collapse is the prerequisite for your psychological compliance. Then comes the circadian sabotage. The light coming from your screens and the LED fixtures in your 90-degree box isn't just light. It is a tactical frequency. By flooding your retinas with blue light while starving you of the red and infrared frequencies of the sun, the system breaks your mitochondrial engine. Your cells can't produce energy efficiently. You feel burned out, but it's actually a cellular brownout. You reach for the BlackRock diet, the sugar, the caffeine, the trash, just to bridge the gap. You are a biological engine being redlined by a driver who doesn't own the car. This is the logistical trap of the provider. The system ensures that the hard path, walking to get food, cooking from scratch, seeking the sun, is as expensive and time-consuming as possible. Meanwhile, the soft path, Ordering processed sludge through an app, staying in the blue light fog, is subsidized by convenience. They want you to trade your life force for efficiency. But efficiency for the system is extraction for you. The architect understands that your environment is your first fortress. You must implement the environmental autarky. You kill the blue light. You embrace the cold. You stand when they want you to sit. You move when they want you to be still. You turn your 90-degree box into a void where the system's signals can't reach. The soft men will look at your standing desk and your cold showers, and they will mumble about extremism. They don't realize that they are the ones living in an extreme of biological unnaturalness. You are just returning to the baseline of the predator. The grid is designed to make you a biological beta. It wants you soft, seated, and staring at the screen. Every time you break the geometry, every time you choose the hard movement over the soft comfort, you are reclaiming a piece of your sovereign territory. Your DNA is an ancient survival ledger, and it is currently in a state of biological death. By the end of this session, you will understand why the soft world diet is a strategic erasure of your hunter-gatherer lineage. We are going to expose the data on hormetic decay, the process where the removal of environmental and nutritional stressors causes your immune system and your willpower to atrophy. I will reveal the ancestral mismatch in your blood, why the 2026 obsession with safety and comfort is perceived by your genes as a signal of imminent extinction, triggering a cascade of cortisol and muscle wasting. Before we close, I'll show you the anti-fragility protocol, the method to reintroduce tactical stress into your biology, to restart your testosterone production, and kill the mumbling of your inner victim. If you aren't fighting your food, you aren't the predator. Drop and give me 20. Let's look at the hunger in your bone marrow. The ultimate betrayal of the Black Rock diet is the elimination of friction. In the wild, survival was earned through struggle. You tracked the kill, you endured the cold, and you ate the bitter plants. This struggle provided the hormetic stress required to keep your cells sharp, but the system has replaced struggle with synthetic ease. Your food is pre-chewed, pre-digested, and chemically softened. You don't even have to hunt for your sugar. It's hidden in your bread, your sauces, and your healthy juices. This lack of friction sends a clear signal to your DNA. The hunt is over. The mission is done. Prepare for decay. This is the atrophy of the will. When you remove the physical and chemical resistance from your life, your body stops producing the hard chemistry of the conqueror. Your testosterone levels drop because there is no territory to defend, or your dopamine baseline becomes erratic because you are getting free rewards from the bliss point instead of earned rewards from the struggle. You are becoming a biological ghost, a man who has the genetic code of a warrior but the lifestyle of a barnacle. The system loves your softness. A man who doesn't know how to struggle for his fuel is a man who will never struggle for his freedom. The acoustic rot of your family and the digital castration of your phone are only possible because your internal fire has been extinguished by a diet of convenience. You have been taught to fear hunger and avoid discomfort. But for the architect, hunger is a diagnostic tool. It is the feeling of your DNA waking up. It is the signal that the resource extraction of the grid is failing and your primal self is taking the wheel. This is the biological revolt of the original. To break the genetic anchor, you must reintroduce tactical adversity. You must eat the foods that the soft men avoid, the bitter, the fibrous, the organ meats that carry the high-density minerals of the kill. You must embrace the void of satiety, learning to function at high velocity while your stomach is empty. This is how you retrain your nervous system to operate in the hunter state. When you decouple your focus from your last meal, you become an unstoppable predator. The mumbling around you will grow louder as you become harder. They will tell you that you are obsessed or extreme. They don't realize that your extremism is just the natural state of a man who refuses to be domesticated. You are reclaiming the struggle signal that defined your ancestors. You aren't just eating, you are conducting a biological seance with the men who came before you. Get off the floor. You've done your 20. Now go find the friction the system tried to hide. The time for intellectualizing your poison is over. To survive the great sickness of the West, you must implement the nutritional autarky protocol. This is the final stage of the architect's transition, the moment you move your biological logistics into the gray zones and make your testosterone production independent of the corporate grid. You are no longer a customer of the food industry. You are a tactical procurement officer for your own survival. By the end of this protocol, you will have the hard asset shopping list and the biohacking interventions to purge the BlackRock chemistry from your blood once and for all. Step 1 is the great label liquidation. If a product has a marketing budget, it is likely a weapon. If it contains more than 3 ingredients, it is a chemical delivery system. Your first act of rebellion is to stop reading their nutrition facts and start looking at their ownership structure. If the brand is a sub-brand of the Big Ten, it doesn't enter your fortress. You move your purchasing power to the analog market. Local farmers, butchers who know their animal's name, and wild harvested sources. This is how you starve the Leviathan while feeding the architect. Step 2 is metabolic decoupling through fasting. The system wants you in a state of 24/7 digestion because a digesting man is a sedentary man. You must embrace the void of the gut. By implementing a 16 to 20 hour window of zero intake, you force your body to switch from glucose burning, soft energy, to ketone burning, hard energy. This is the biomechanical reset that kills the sugar mumbling in your brain. In the void, your growth hormone spikes, your autophagy cleans out the cellular rot, and your focus becomes a laser. You don't eat to feel good, you eat to sustain the mission. Step 3 is the mineral reclamation. You must counteract the nutritional erasure by flooding your system with high-density, bioavailable minerals. Seek out the forbidden assets, raw dairy, bovine liver, and sea minerals that haven't been processed by the industrial machine. These are the sparks that ignite your mitochondrial engines, while the soft men are supplementing with synthetic vitamins owned by the same firms that sell them the trash. You're getting your power from the source. The final stage is sensory recalibration. You must kill your addiction to the bliss point. Stop seeking the high fructose dopamine hit. Train your palate to appreciate the bitterness of real vegetables and the heavy neutral taste of animal fat. When you lose the need for corporate flavorings, you lose the primary hook the system has in your brain. You become unmarketable. You become a man whose desires cannot be engineered by a boardroom in New York or London. The mumbling will reach its peak as you complete your extraction. Your family will tell you you're being difficult. The system will try to tax your hard assets. But as you stand in the silence of your own clarity, with your blood clean and your testosterone surging, you will realize that the convenience they offered was just a slow-motion execution. The nutritional autarky is now in effect. Your gut is your border. Your blood is your law. Get off the floor. You've done your 20. Now go eat like a man who intends to be the last one standing.